Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today on the 3-Man Blitz. I'd just like to take a moment to remind you to follow us on Twitter at 3-Man Blitz. Visit us at www.3manblitz.com. You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, and don't forget to view us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks guys. Hey everybody, welcome into the 3-Man Blitz. Kwesi's laughing at me, I just messed up the intro a second ago. I said 3-point conversion.
3-Man Blitz.
That used to be the deal here.
It's the 3-Man Blitz.
So, college edition. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're covering your Arkansas Razorbacks. Those of you who are interested. All of you Arkansas fans. Yeah, Soo-wee, whatever. Go Razorbacks. So, before we get started, I guess we'll go ahead and take our shots.
Let's take the shots, bro.
I'm Andrew. You got Jeremy, Kwesi over here.
Yes, sir.
And Jeremy's going to start us off with offense here in a second.
Yep. We'll get cracking on some offense. Go for 3.
Oh. I tried to wait on you, but I couldn't. Kwesi already went.
That's cool.
So we went like bam, bam, bam.
Well, not to get gross or gross anybody out, but there was something floating in my shot glass. I just shot it anyway.
That's alcohol. It'll clean it.
Yeah. Think about what those guys back in the Old West did. Like, ugh.
You got on him Razorbacks offense.
All right. So just, if you're a fan of the Arkansas Razorbacks, I appreciate you giving us a listen, and we're going to give you a good prediction here, okay? But let's be realistic. We got some new start. We got a whole new regime coming in.
Yeah, new head coach.
Listen, you got new everything. You started, you didn't start. You had 2-10 last year. It wasn't a good season. I think we're all realistic. We understand that's the fact. It was 2-10.
But we're saying you're going to do better than 2-10.
You will be improved from last season. It's not going to be much. But the thing is that you're at the bottom, okay? You're at the bottom. You're building. You got to get you a foundation, and you may have that in Samm Pittman. You may. He's a career-long assistant coach.
Offensive line coach.
Yeah. He's been an offensive line coach. So we'll see. I mean, he decided to take the jump. I think he's around 60, 61 years old, so it's a little late to be jumping into a head coaching position, I would think. But, when opportunity comes a knocking, you take that. Yeah. He helped himself out. He got a couple good coordinators to help him out. He got Kendal Briles for his offense. He got Barry Odom for his defense. But I'm gonna exactly. So I'm gonna focus on the offense. I'm not gonna get too crazy. So he got Kendal Briles. So yes, he is associated with Art Briles from Baylor. What Kendal Briles likes to run is a fast tempo type spread offense. And when I was looking at it, a lot of people said it was a modern approach. So I guess that's a younger take on a tempo type offense. I'm not real sure what that means, honestly. Offense is offense to me.
Yeah.
But he did run the offense at Baylor, also for like several years. He also ran it at Florida Atlantic under Kiffin. So he's a good offensive mind. He also ran he was the OC at Houston when they had a good run. I think it was 2018. And then last season he was at Florida State.
So he was at Houston under Tom Herman, if I'm correct.
He was. Yep,
right?
under Herman.
Okay.
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah, they were really good back then.
And Jeremy, not to cut you off, man. I'm not an SEC fan or an SEC. That's not my team. But I've noticed from a couple of videos we've done already that it seems a couple teams are trying to be fast paced or trying to be high powered in their way. When I'm used to hearing that the SEC is usually like a running kind of conference in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Do you see a trend so far? Am I mistaken by saying that?
I think what most teams are trying to do is what you're seeing is it's not your traditionally fantastic teams. It's your guys that are in the bottom and they're trying to figure out something different to throw at some guys, And I mean, fast pace is good. I mean, anytime you go up tempo, you're not letting the other team sub, Exactly. So you're not subbing, they can't sub. Okay. So that's kind of a thing that everybody probably should know. If you don't know it, when you're going up tempo, no huddle offense, as long as the offense does not sub anybody in, the defense cannot either.
Well, let me ask you this. You also said that he's trying to break, he's known for his spread offense, right?
Yeah.
So we're looking at the same thing. Yeah, we're looking at the same thing from like Mike Leach. We're looking at the same thing from like Lane Kiffin. Kind of, I mean, like it reminds me of a situation of like everybody trying to like follow in Alabama and LSU's footsteps, kind of like in the NFL, how you're looking at the Denver Broncos and you're like, okay, they're trying to be the Kansas City Chiefs. they see where that success is coming from and how the game changes, and everybody's trying to move with that.
Yeah, it's not a bad take. It's really not. So what they're trying to do is be, like you said, like Kendal Briles, he was with Lane Kiffin, Tom Herman. He's with these guys. And of course, he ran the Baylor offense for a while. He's trying to take everything that he's got and put Arkansas in the best situation. Okay, so talent-wise, when you put Arkansas up against these other SEC squads, they're not as talented. Okay, they're just not. So they're going to have to recruit really well, but there is things that you can do. There are things you can do X and O wise, to move the football.
To coach these guys into a win is what you're saying.
Yeah, you gotta, and of course, whatever he ran at all these other schools, he's going to have to tailor it to what talent he has.
Yes.
And that's just the way it is. And what he has is he got Felipe Franks. He got he's not a grad transfer. He's just a transfer from Florida. So yeah, the name Felipe Franks. He got hurt last year and then got replaced by Kyle Trask. Trask did well, and they said, you know what, it's okay. We're going to let him continue on. And Franks said, you know what, I'm out, deuces. I'm going to go somewhere else. And he ended up in Arkansas. He wanted to stay in SEC. I salute him for that. Yeah. He's a guy to steal from you, Andrew. He doesn't really pass the eye test when it matters the most. Yeah. But if you look at his stats, it's not terrible. I question his leadership. But from what they had on the squad, from what they had on the depth chart, he should be a step up. I mean, he can take off if he needs to. He's athletic. He's got a big arm. Accuracy and taking care of the football is his things he needs to work on.
Not to cut you off once again.
No, go ahead.
On that depth chart at quarterback, they also have Jerry Jones' grandson, do they not?
I believe so, yeah.
Like 99% sure he's still with the team. Thought that was just kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, and, just because you're the grandson of Jerry Jones doesn't mean that you're going to be any type of great football player. He's going to have to work his behind off to become something if he wants to be a player.
Well, just throwing the little factoid out there.
Of course, Jerry Jones, if you guys don't know, obviously he's the owner of the Cowboys, but he used to play for Arkansas. So if you go back way back, he was a really good player for Arkansas, actually.
Way back.
Yeah, you got to go way back. But Arkansas, believe it or not, used to be really good. Even in the early 90s, mid-90s, they were a pretty good team. And even in 2000, they have, I was about to say, Darren McFadden. They had a couple. They had another guy. I can't remember who he is off the top of my head, but two really good running backs. Yeah. Really good running backs. I'd like to see them get back to that kind of team, the kind of team that you don't want to see because their linemen are huge. They're going to just run at you physically and just run you over, and nobody wants to play you because it's like, man, we might be able to out-talent you and we might drag out this win 17-10, but, man, you're going to just run straight at us and bruises and cuts and scrapes. But
well, see, and that's the kind of thing that I'm expecting from old Samm Pittman. He's a big boy. His background is an offensive line coach. He's very, very, very good at recruiting big, mean, nasty offensive linemen. He can get a couple of running backs to say, hey, I've got this wall over here that you can run behind. I mean, we might see Arkansas get real nasty here in a season or two as far as that run game goes.
Yeah, and if I was Samm Pittman, I mean, that's the first place I would start recruiting is that line, right? You win and lose in the SEC in the trenches. Yeah. You don't really necessarily have to have the greatest talent. I mean, you do. Obviously, like Alabama, they got talent everywhere. It's dripping everywhere.
83% blue chip ratio, 83%.
Exactly. That's just ridiculous, right? I mean, they've been recruiting so well for over a decade. Yeah. That's why they're where they're at. Arkansas has not been that team. They do have really big linemen. We're talking about big, ugly linemen, offense. They have those guys. I think they have 4 returning starters. Left tackle, Marion Cunningham. The center, Ty Clary. Ricky Stromberg. I forget who the other starter is. It's either Shea Clennon or Dalton Wagner. But they've got a lot of starters. Off the top of my head, I didn't actually write it down. But they have like 53 starts between them. So they have experience, right? Maybe just forgot his name, Samm Pittman. Maybe Samm Pittman can really mold them since he's got such an offensive line background to where that's what they look for. And then they just pound the ball with Rakeem Boyd. And Rakeem Boyd is their running back. And he's the one, he came back. So he's a, Rakeem Boyd, he came back this year. He's like 6 foot, 216 pounds. He ran for over almost 1,200 yards. He had 8 touchdowns. He's probably one of the best things. Like, if you're looking for a bright ray of sunshine for your offense, it's Rakeem Boyd. He doesn't have a ton of like top end speed. He's not gonna blow past a lot of people, but he's a hard physical runner, and he's gonna give you everything he's got. And if you get your lineman right, I mean, that can give people and then some real problems. And you get Felipe Franks. I mean, I assume with his running ability, they'll put the RPO in there even a little bit. And even Kendal Briles said he wanted a physical running team with tempo, and then they want to throw the ball around. That's kind of the same thing that y'all were asking. It's kind of the same thing that everybody really wants. Just because you're running an up-tempo offense doesn't mean you're throwing it every time.
Okay.
You know, you want to – the first people to wear out on a defense are your defensive line. These are some big boys, especially your defensive tackles.
And you want to keep them on their heels.
Yeah, exactly. You can start running in the middle. If you can start successfully running through the middle of the defense, you've got it.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're
screwed.
up tempo, yeah.
Yeah, they're screwed. If their middle breaks, they're done because they end up having to blitz through there. Then you start running to the outside. You start doing play action. You throw over the top. You keep your defense guessing. They're done. They're done.
And I know you said Rakeem Boyd is not like the number one guy as far as top end speed and this and that, but if you watch a lot of his highlight videos, once he gets to that edge and he hits like that second gear, dude, he's gone. Yeah. He owns the edge.
And he's a really good running back.
Yes.
He's really
I think he's the most, and I tweeted this earlier today, the most underrated running back in the SEC this season. 100%.
No doubt.
Very underrated. Man, it's because he plays for Arkansas.
And that's the deal. Is most people, they look and, you see the record, right? 2-10. Oh, they don't have anybody. They've got no talent. That's not the case. There's always guys that shine. Even when they're getting beat down, these guys are giving it everything they got, and that's the guys that you want on your team, right? Yep. Just real quick, we'll talk about the receivers. Your starting guys, your Mike Woods Jr., your Traylon Burks, and your Trey Knox. That's the 3 guys I got starting. Your Traylon Burks, he's also your punt and kick return specialist. Okay. There's some big guys. I mean, the Trey Knox, he's 6'5", 210 pounds or something like that. He's a pretty big dude. Mike Woods Jr., he's 6'1". Traylon Burks is 6'3", 223. And they were on a struggling offense last year. It's no secret. So they don't have, like, the best stats. I'm not even going to read them off. They're not killing it. But I think they have the potential to be. So even if your offensive line doesn't end up holding up, and even though I'm not a huge fan of Felipe Franks, mostly because he came from Florida, he's talented enough to where, if your pocket collapses, he can make something happen. And that alone can make Arkansas's offense much better than it was last year. Okay. Yeah. And then they've got a redshirt freshman, Hudson Henry, at tight end. They're real excited about this guy. He's huge. He's 6'5", 238. So he can run block, but he's got hands. So look for him.
Gronkowski here.
I mean, he's got the build. I mean, he's not old, and he's 6'5", 238. Yeah. I mean, he could be nasty. So we'll see. We'll see. Like I said,
this could be a very physical team from what you're telling me. This offense could be very physical. They may not win every game, but they are going to try to manhandle you and beat you down.
I think it's a good attitude to have. If I was playing for Arkansas, or if I was a coach for Arkansas, if I was Samm Pittman, that's what I'd be preaching. Hey, guys, we might not go out and we might not be in the SEC championship game. Okay? The SEC West is a gauntlet. But what we're going to do is we're going to run this tempo just enough to break off these big plays. And every play, I want you to smack everybody in the mouth. Let them know who you are and just punch it down their throat. Because guys are going to overlook you. And when they do, they're going to be wide-eyed like, oh, man, I'm going to have to actually, get back in the frame here and play. And we've seen it a ton of times. Underdogs can win every game. You know what I mean? They can. They're going to be big underdogs a ton. I've got them going. Cover your ears, Arkansas fans.
Actually,
3-9. I have you 3-9, which is a game better. And I'm giving you a win at Nevada, which is a huge push right off the bat because last year you had a hard time with a couple of these guys. I got you beating Nevada, I got you beating Charleston Southern, and I got you beating ULM. I think you're a couple of years, at least 2 years away You got from really competing, especially in the West. The West is real tough. Even your Mississippi State and your Ole Miss teams got these bigger known coaches that are going to get recruits just from their name. It's going to be tough. Samm Pittman is his first year as a head coach. It's really tough. COVID-19 notwithstanding. Tough.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
I appreciate it, Jeremy. Kwesi, what you got on this defense, bro?
Don't have much on this defense. As Jeremy has already kind of stated, I do see this as like a 2-year project for them. There could be some kind of turnaround. It depends on a lot on this year, how it starts out with their new coach or whatever. Last year, only 6 teams gave up as many points as they did, which was like 37 points. And I'm talking about like in the whole FBS. Yeah. Only 6 teams.
And that was their average per game?
Exactly, 37. So they can only go up, so they have their hands full in high hopes. But Barry Odom is on his way there. Hopefully he can make some changes. He came from Missouri. He did have Missouri in like the top 5 in the SEC as far as the defense. So he can make some kind of changes with that defense.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, there's more improvement. Arkansas fans, we're telling you good things here.
Yeah, I mean, again, as Jeremy stated, it begins with the coach, and which getting in their head and having them buy in to knowing that it's going to be a struggle, but I'm down for that struggle and I'm down to fight and do all I can. Yeah. That's how you get past the bully. You don't get past the bully by just curling up and walking away. Sometimes you got to punch them in the nose, and you will gain that respect. They will give you that respect.
I like that too. That's the best way to deal with a bully.
Exactly.
That's the best way. I know everybody preaches now walk away and blah blah blah. It's to stand up for yourself, punch them in the nose. They'll never mess with you again. Of course, this is football. They're going to keep coming back, but you know what? You might find something out about yourself, and they need to recruit those guys because they're not going to get the blue chippers right away. They're just not.
But sometimes the bully will slam you on your head after that. But still, don't lose the point.
Okay? He'll respect you for it, though.
Queasy's sharing from personal experience.
Hell no. Never.
He's like, no, I never lost a fight.
Never. But with the Arkansas, again, they lost a lot of the key defensive players. Going 2-9, whatever it was. Key defensive players. Such as Deshaun Harris. Cameron Curl, of course, all of which is the NFL. The only thing that can help this defense out is, of course, to buy in. The coaches got to recruit well and start from scratch. They got a couple vets in the secondary that may be able to help them out. Montrese Brown and Jarquez McKillen. That's the only thing they got to hold on to. But again, it begins with buying in with the coach and that new defensive coordinator to help turn around this system. You already know you're in the SEC. You already know you're at the bottom. Have faith and know there's the only way to go up is up.
No doubt. And I wish that they lost Cameron Curl as well. They lost him early to the draft. Exactly. He was a safety. I would have liked to have seen him come back, and he would have helped bolster a defensive secondary that's going to struggle, with a lot of experience. But you're right. I mean, there is some solace knowing, like, you know what? Hey, I know exactly where we're at. I know exactly what we have to do. It's not like they're just now thrown into the West and they don't know what to expect. They know the guys they're playing against.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me there's not a way to beat these guys. There is. You can more physical guys and more preparation and more work will outdo talent 100 times over.
Exactly. Looking at you, Alabama.
But you really gotta. I mean, you gotta work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, and that's what they need. I don't know if they're that committed, and I don't know a whole lot about Samm Pittman. Honestly,
he's a guy with a lot of character. He's got a lot of charisma. He's a very good people person. He's very good with recruits. Very good with the families of the players. So if there's any coach that I think could really get the guys to buy in, it's going to be Pittman. He's a very, very good people person. And he seems like he's a very good coach. So I think that Arkansas this could be a turnaround point for them, to maybe get back to what we saw in the early 2000s, back in the day, the 90s, the heyday of Arkansas. But, it's a very slow climb, and you got to be patient.
Again, definitely see this as a project. So I'm not looking forward to be next year. But again, 2 or 3 years in the future, I can definitely see it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I've got a graphic for you guys. Share screen real quick if y'all want to check it out.
Let's see it.
Just a quick little thing I threw together.
Yeah, for all you guys listening out there, you should check us out on YouTube so you can see this lovely thing that Andrew's about to throw up, so you can kind of follow along with us. If not, we'll try to verbalize it for you.
So I've got my 2020 schedule, and it's very similar to Jeremy's. The only difference is I have a win at Mississippi State, and I think it's only because Mike Leach is going to have a hard time getting his offense installed at Mississippi State. And if they're trying this spread offense, throwing it around, this and that, I think I know Mississippi State has Kylan Hill, and he's a very fantastic running back. But I think that Arkansas can come out and, kind of like we were talking, out physical them and punch Mississippi State in the mouth and come away with a win in this game. But it's not looking good the rest of the season. Of course, you've got Notre Dame. It's the number 2 game on the season there, week 2. That is tough, and it's at Notre Dame. It'll be a heck of an experience for the team, and something you guys will remember forever. But you're probably not coming away with a win there. And then of course there's your Texas A&M, which is another part of your SEC gauntlet. Charleston Southern. I have faith in you guys come away with a win there. Then there's Alabama, LSU, bye week, Tennessee, Auburn, Ole Miss, ULM, Missouri, and it's just not pretty. I've got you guys with 4 wins. That's a little better than Jeremy. I have a little more faith. I think I've got, like I said, the Mississippi State game up there. But just hang in there. You're in the West. It's rough.
Yeah, all they can do, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's the point. Is like there's every program has their down years, and I think this is without a doubt a down year for Arkansas, right? Yeah. But there is an upside. I think, like I said, I don't really know a whole lot about Samm Pittman. From what I hear, he's fantastic. He hired a lot of good coordinators. He's got good coaches around him, and you could definitely improve from last season and keep building off of that. So
4-8 it is.
It's a rough schedule, though. It's a rough schedule for Arkansas, man. It really is.
SEC tradition, Kwesi's favorite part.
Oh, dear God.
Arkansas used to be the Cardinals until they were described as a wild band of Razorback Hogs after a 1909 win over LSU. Yeah, you guys used to beat LSU.
That's pretty cool, bro.
Number 2, the Arkansas mascot, Tusk 4, is actually a Russian boar. He's not really a Razorback because that'd be kind of weird bringing a wild Razorback hog onto the field. I mean, I could see Arkansas doing it. Arkansas is the kind of place that might do something like that, but he's a Russian boar. Looks very similar to a Razorback. But would it be awesome, Jeremy? You rein that thing out there.
I mean, I don't want to be there when it happens, especially on the field, but watching it on TV, yeah, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I want to see the court case when it's settled. That's what I want to see.
No doubt.
Number 3, calling the Hogs. This is something that you Razorback fans take a lot of pride in.
Come on, all you Razorbacks, let's stand up and call those Hogs!
It's a long-standing tradition and one of the most unique chants in sports today, and that means all sports, period. I'm going to have to show Kwesi what it is later. He don't want to see
How about no?
I mean, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, how many animals are you going to call in the NCAA? You're not going to call the Wolverines.
You call the Hogs.
The Hogs.
They like throw their arms in the air and soo-wee, soo-wee, something like that.
Hell.
I'll show you, dog.
Yeah, don't do that.
The Arkansas versus LSU game is a huge rivalry dating back to 1901. And number 5, the winner of this game is awarded the Golden Boot, a $10,000 boot plated in 24-karat gold.
A boot.
A boot.
I mean, a boot. No plates, no trophy, just a boot.
That is the trophy. It's a boot. It's gold. It's amazing.
Wow.
Key players. We already talked about Felipe Franks, quarterback transfer out of Florida. His 2018 stats, he was injured in 2019. Jeremy already went over all that. 188 completions out of 322 attempts, 2,457 yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Not bad. 110 rushing attempts. That's really high for a quarterback. 350 yards, 7 touchdowns. He likes to run. He's a big-armed quarterback. He can rush when he's pressured, but as Jeremy said earlier, he stole the words out of my mouth. He fails the eye test. He's not been very good when they need him most. I'll say that. Bumper Pool, linebacker, junior, 6'2".
Hang on.
What you got?
This dude's name is actually Bumper Pool. Not a typo. This is his real name, Bumper Pool. I just wanted to put that out there. He's not playing Bumper Pool. He is Bumper Pool.
He is the Bumper Pool. All right. And, of course, he's a linebacker because he's going to hit you. Bumper the linebacker. I love it. Bumper Pool.
Man.
6'2", 228 pounds. He's a big boy. 94 total tackles, 38 solo, 56 assisted, 6.5 tackles for loss, which is actually pretty high, but I imagine that defense was on the field a lot.
Yeah.
He's credited for half a sack. He defended 5 passes last season, so he's got the potential there to be a decent coverage linebacker. We'll see how that develops. And he had a 13-tackle game versus Missouri last season, which was his season high. That's a lot of tackles in one game for one player.
No doubt.
Moving on, Rakeem Boyd. My graphic got split up a little bit here. Rakeem Boyd, most underrated running back in the SEC. 184 attempts, 1,333 yards, 8 touchdowns, and check this. This was the most impressive stat. This is what really got me. 6.2 yards per carry. Playing for the Arkansas Razorbacks in the SEC West. 6.2 yards per carry. That is insane.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how much of that was when it was garbage time and people had their second string in. Not to take anything away from Rakeem Boyd, because I've seen his tape. I mean, he is a good running back, and I spoke to him a little bit. And of course, when teams are beating the crap out of you, you kind of go away from your run game at times, and then
you do.
At some point, though, when you realize it's way out of it, you try to just kind of get ready for next week, right? And you just like, let's try to be balanced and see maybe what we can do.
I don't mean to be that guy.
It's
either,
impressive.
When you're playing Alabama's second string, that's still better than most teams' first string. With the guys they recruit, as far as like the 4 and 5 stars coming right out of high school, man, these guys are loaded with talent. So, I mean, you'd have to watch some of the games, I guess, but 6.2 yards per carry is the highest I've seen so far in all of our coverage of the SEC. So I'm very, very excited with that. Jeremy was talking about his speed earlier. When he hits that corner, his top-end speed is very good. I've seen him outrun quite a few corners and DBs trying to keep up with him. He may not be the fastest guy in the NFL, but the SEC, but he's very fit, very fast still. Makes fast cuts and leaps. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Noshawn Marino, the way he used to run back in the day for Georgia, as far as jumping guys and like not even missing a step. It's very impressive. Like I said, I'll say it again. Most rated running back in the SEC. Ooh. And last but not least, Dorian Gerald, defensive end. He's a senior. His 2018 stats, because he suffered an injury in week 1 of 2019 that ruined his whole season. He played 245 D-line snaps and had 21 tackles out of that, which is not bad. 2.5 tackles for loss. He was the number 1 defensive end per ESPN out of high school. So I think that he's going to make a huge impact and really be a anchor for this defense. And I'm really excited to see him back and see him play a whole season. And I think that he's really trying hard to work up to that senior season that's really going to launch him into the NFL, because of course that's his goal right there. And he tweeted not too long ago saying that he was back and felt, in his words, more powerful than ever. So I'm excited to see him play again.
That can only help.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was it, 6.2 yards per carry? And he had like 184 carries. I mean, that's no matter how you slice it, it's really good. I mean, even if it was against second string garbage time, blah, 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 like Iowa State, that's still really good. And I want to know from anybody listening in the comments, if you're on YouTube, and if you're not, go to YouTube and put it in the comments or contact us directly. I want to know what it is you think about Arkansas. Like, what can they do to get better on offense? What can they do to be better on defense? Do you disagree, agree? I want to know it all because.
And my big question for you Arkansas fans, are you happy with the Samm Pittman hire? I heard a lot of bad things about it. A lot of people were talking about, well, he's just an O-line coach. Look at what Matt Luke did at Ole Miss, this and that. Are you happy with the hire, and what will it take to keep you happy with Samm Pittman this season?
And I guess my 2 takes away from this is Bumper Pool.
Bumper Pool. He's a beast.
And
he's a
pool, baby.
A boot.
A boot.
Yeah,
a gold boot.
But it's got gold on it.
Gold.
It's got gold on it, Kwesi.
Would you wear golden boots, Kwesi?
No, I wouldn't.
Kwesi in the golden boots. It sounds like a children's book. I'm right.
I'd wear a golden fleece diaper.
Okay, and on that, we're done.
We're done.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Check out our other SEC videos as we're making our way through the West. We've got 2 teams left. We're doing Texas A&M and Auburn, and then we're on to the East. We've already done Missouri in the East. We did a video with Stingray. You guys make sure you check that out. It was interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and go for 3.
Go for 3.